welcome to another episode of Spectacular Magazine Shorts. I'm your host, Phyllis Coley. This show today, we are going to talk about social justice and work that's being done in our community. Duke Energy Foundation has given grants across the state. We're going to recognize those people in our market, in our area, and the work that they're doing. My guest today is ATRAYUS GOODE, who is the inaugural CEO and president of Mentor NC. Welcome.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. How have you been?
I'm upright and vertical, so it's a good day.
That's always a good day, right? Listen, tell us about Mentor NC.
Sure. So Mentor North Carolina is a local affiliate of Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. And so Mentor has been around for about 30 years. And essentially what Mentor does at the national level is you can think of them as a convener. So if you think about mentoring in the 90s, which is when Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership was started, Big Brothers Big Sisters was typically the organization you heard of when it came to mentoring. But there wasn't a convening force to help bring folks together to talk about best practices, resources, things of that nature. And so the National Mentoring Partnership does that. They get their work done through statewide affiliates. And so I lead the North Carolina affiliate. And essentially what it is that we do is help to build capacity of mentoring agencies across the state. And so that could be through helping folks with looking at their fund development plan. It could be helping them figure out how they recruit more diverse mentors. And some of the work that we're diving into now is connected to our racial equity focus. And so that's something that is core to the work that we do here. And so with Mentor North Carolina, not only are we looking to connect more young people with supportive, positive relationships, but we want to make sure that we can address the systemic barriers that young people face that stop them from being successful. So specifically Black and brown youth and how we look at structural oppression.
So who would be your ideal client? Who should be looking for your services?
So essentially any mentoring organization that's looking to grow and develop the work that they do. And so part of what we did when we got started is we did a close to year-long feasibility study. So we spent time in communities across North Carolina to look at what are some of the key things that we might be able to offer as an affiliate as we relaunch. And so based on those findings, we had a number of different things that came up. So one, we had a better understanding of who was being mentored. And so overwhelmingly, the mentoring agencies in North Carolina are serving Black and brown males, specifically those that might be the first in their families to go to college, coming from low-income households, things of that nature. And the primary issues that mentoring agencies are having are several. So one is mentor recruitment. And so there are far too many young people that aren't connected with positive relationships, and many programs have wait lists. And so folks are really looking at how can they get more adults that are equipped and able to mentor connected with young folks. Fund development was something else that came up, which is likely no surprise that agencies are being asked to do more with less. And I say in particular, agencies that are led by Black and brown people that are under-resourced. And so how do you make sure people have the financial capacity to do that work? We also found out that data collection was an issue. And so there are a lot of agencies that are doing good work, but may not be able to articulate that to funders and things of that nature to really talk about the impact they're having. And so how can we make sure that people are able to tell that story? Capacity building. And so when that relates to infrastructure, so making sure you have enough staff, it could be expanding program office space. And then the last piece is professional development. The people felt that they were working in silos. And so you might have an agency say over here, they're serving 50 students. You might have one over here serving 150 students. And they could be in the same community, but they're not communicating with each other. And so how do we make sure that people are able to have that connective tissue to help each other be better together as we do this work?
So ATRAYUS, how will this grant help you with your work? Now, is it earmarked toward a particular goal or a particular segment of what you do? Talk about that, please.
Sure. So specifically, the grant that we got from Duke Energy Foundation is focused on our work with My Brother's Keeper. For those that may not be familiar with MBK, it was started under President Obama in 2014 after the shooting of Trayvon Martin. And the goal of MBK and the MBK Community Challenge was to galvanize communities across the country to look at how do we put together action plans to have better outcomes for boys and young men of color. And so this work is looking at how do we build a statewide My Brothers and Sisters Keeper affiliate. And so the work that we do specifically is going to include young ladies because we recognize there are some significant challenges there, in particular with Black and Brown young ladies. And so there are 7 MBK communities here in North Carolina, one of which is emerging. And so we're looking at figuring out ways to build collaboration, to have better partnerships, but then to figure out how do we build a collective statewide agenda to improve life outcomes for youth of color.
I am so glad that you mentioned young girls because that was actually going to be my next question. So is that already in operation, the one for young ladies?
So it depends on the community. So my agency, we actually operate My Brothers and Sisters Keeper Orange County. Our community does work with young men and young ladies, and the newest emerging community here in North Carolina is My Brothers and Sisters Keeper Eastern North Carolina. So we're looking at Rocky Mount, we're looking at some of the spaces there. They're going to be working with young boys and young ladies also. And so it really just depends on the community as to where they want to focus their energy.
Are you also a resource for parents if they're looking for a mentor for their children, for their child?
So one of the things that we recommend to folks that are looking for mentors is to go to, they can either go to our website, which is mentornc.org, or they can go to the National Mentoring Partnership website, which is mentoring.org. And there's something called the Mentoring Connector. So this could be for parents or young people that are looking to get connected with mentors, and it's a resource for adults that are looking to mentor young people. And so essentially what you do is you go to the Mentoring Connector, you put in your zip code, and for programs that are registered in the Mentoring Connector, it's going to pull together a list of programs that fit whatever sort of mentoring you want to do. And so Phyllis, to your point, if you wanted to mentor, say, young girls, you would type in your zip code, and you would type you want to mentor young girls, and with a particular profile. So it could be specifically young girls that are in high school. And it's going to pull up mentoring agencies in your area that fit that profile. And then you would contact that organization, they lead you through the application process, and then they connect you with a young person.
Give those websites again, and as you give them, we'll have them up on the screen.
Sure. So our website here in North Carolina is mentornc.org. Okay. And the National Mentoring Partnership website is mentoring.org. And so either one of those websites you can go to and look at the Mentoring Connector, and whether you are a parent, a young person, or say an adult that wants to mentor a young person, it gives you access to programs that can then suit your needs.
Wonderful. And did you say how, I didn't hear you say how long the Mentor North Carolina branch of the mentoring organization has been in operation?
Sure. So the process actually started in 2016, and so what I will say is that there was an affiliate here previously, and that was under Governor Jim Hunt, and then it transitioned into being a part of communities and schools. And the leader at that time, unfortunately, her husband got very sick and passed away, and so the affiliate went silent. So around 2016, we were contacted by the National Mentoring Partnership to look at relaunching the affiliate. And so at that point, we had some internal conversations. We got a grant to do a feasibility study. And then we spent between 2016 and 2017 across the state asking questions about the state of mentoring in North Carolina. What are some key things we could do to help mentoring organizations be successful, et cetera. And so from that, we were able to present that information to the National Mentoring Partnership. And we had a launch event in October 2018. And so officially, I would say our affiliate has been established since October 2018.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the organization and all the work that you put into it. But congratulations on getting this grant, because I know it will be well used. I know it will be well used, and so much needed in our community. And I would think now, one other question before we go. With COVID and with that, now, are you still able to mentor in the same ways that you were, or you have been in the past? I mean, are you able to do one-on-one, face-to-face, or is it one-on-one via Zoom or the computer?
And we've been doing webinars on different topics, and one of the webinars we had was called Compassionate Grant Making During COVID-19. And so we had a conversation with funders about how they are supporting agencies during COVID. And I can say one of the things that I've seen is that unfortunately, a lot of agencies have had to close their doors. And if you think about where funding might come from, so if you're a mentoring agency that's working with a school district and that school district went virtual and they're not doing in-person anything anymore, then that funding source is cut. And one of the conversations that we had and was able to lift up with funders is that we're trying to help communicate to funders that this is actually the best time to invest in programs because COVID is not going to be here forever. And if you consider who's being served by these programs, mentoring programs overwhelmingly serve Black and brown youth. So if the doors are being closed on these agencies, once COVID is over, then the young folks that were already at a disadvantage that were in these programs have another disadvantage because now that program that was helping them to move forward no longer exists. And so for us, we're trying to make sure that folks get the resources and tools necessary so that when COVID does finally shift, they're in a better position to serve young folks than they were in the past. I can say we've seen a number of innovations during this time. So we have programs across the state. I'd say one that stands out is Right Moves for Youth. That's based in Charlotte, where they were able to shift everything virtual. And so it could be via Zoom, it could be via phones, things of that nature, making sure that young people still have access to relationships. Because as you could probably imagine, the mental health crisis that young people are facing right now is one that we may not have seen on this scale before during this time. And social distancing doesn't have to mean emotional disconnection. So we want to make sure that the young people that were already struggling don't have these mentors removed from their lives, because that could be tremendously detrimental. So folks are finding ways to make it happen, I guess, is to make a long story short.
We're all having to be creative.
That's right.
But you all are doing great work. I am so glad to hear this. Thank you so much for visiting with me today and for telling us all about what you do. And I am sure that there are folk out there that can very much use your service, and you know that, but now they know how to reach you. So I have been visiting with ATRAYUS Goode, who is the president and CEO of Mentor NC. And they are the recipient of a Duke Energy Foundation social justice grant. And they have been doing great work. All of this information is available, but if you have missed this, please go and visit our website, spectacularmag.com. All this information will be on our website as well. I'm Phyllis Coley. You've been watching Spectacular Mag Shorts. And until next time, see ya.
Spectacular Magazine. We on the scene.